Hello, Texas. Folks, I want to tell you, this old Razorback has never been so excited in his life to be in Texas as tonight. Janet and I are so grateful. And we love you guys. Janet and I actually lived in Texas for 4 years. Our oldest son was born in North Richland Hills. Some of you actually know where that is. We probably couldn't find it today because everything has changed so much out here. But 30 years ago, when we lived in Texas for some 4 years, there's some things we learned. One thing we learned was, you don't call a jalapeno pepper a jalapeno. Second thing we learned is that if you're running for president, you do not eat a tamale with the shuck on the tamale. And the third thing that the rest of the country is going to learn about Texas come March the 4th, don't mess with Texas. I don't know if you know this or not, but we've got about 4 times the number of people that we anticipated, and we've had to open 2 or 3 different rooms to get everybody in here. You know, I think somebody forgot to tell you guys that this election is over. And I'm going to tell you something else. They forgot to tell me it was over, too. Last night, one of the talking heads, sitting on one of the networks, when asked, why is Huckabee still in this race? Here's what he had to say. He said, I think he just likes to fly around on airplanes. It's a good thing I wasn't close to him. I'm afraid I might have committed a criminal act last night. You know, and I thought about what he said. And I really do wish that I'd been on the program with him. Because here's what I'd have told him. If there's any great thrill in flying around in an airplane, the glory of that was lost a long time ago. Now, we didn't get into this because I like flying around in airplanes or spending every other night in a different hotel room and being away 29 out of 30 nights a month from my home. My wife didn't give up her job. We didn't forgo a lot of our own personal income over the last 14 months just because we like to fly on airplanes. Let me tell you why, and I want you to understand why we're still standing tonight. Because we love this country, and we believe some things would make it better. We believe that if we don't institute some principles that have made America great and would give us another chance to be even greater, then it's going to be upon us for not standing. When I was a kid, my boyhood pastor used to say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Folks, America is a country that is strong because its people have stood for something. And if today we decide that we're just going to fall for anything and all it matters is let's just get somebody we think's going to win, but folks, it's more important that we not just win elections, but that we win back this country to what made it strong, and that's a country with a moral center. We're staying in this race because we believe some issues are very, very critical for the future of America. And by the way, if anyone ever suggests that you ought to run for president, I hope you're ready for an incredible energy level, because it does require some stamina. There was a couple of boys from New York, and they decided they were going to leave the big city life and move to West Texas and buy a farm out there. So they took all the money they had from their savings and went out to West Texas, found a piece of real estate. They bought them a farm. Now, they didn't know a thing about farming, nothing. But being from New York, they figured it'd be easy to farm, so it couldn't be all that hard. So they went to the little general store in the town where they had bought the farm and went up and said, sir, we just bought this farm out here, and we wondered, do you have the stuff we might need to start a farm? You could tell us what it is and sell it to us. The fellow looked at him, realized he had a couple of real unsophisticated city slickers with him. He said, oh, yeah, I've got everything you're going to need. He said, you're going to need a pickup truck. I got one of those I can sell you. You're going to need some fertilizer and some seed, and I got all that. You're going to need a plow. And then you're going to need something to pull that plow with. Now, normally I'd sell you a mule. I got everything but the mule. I don't have any mules. I'll see what I can do. They said, well, okay. I guess we'll have to figure out how to get started. And one of them was looking out on the porch of the general store, and he saw a couple of great big watermelons out there. And again, being a city boy, he didn't even realize what those were. He said, what are those great old big round things? He said, oh, you know what? Well, I don't have any mules, but those are some mule eggs, and I'll tell you what. I'll sell you a couple of those mule eggs for $100 if you want them. The boy said, well, that sounds like a pretty good deal. So they gave him the extra $100, loaded up in their pickup truck, and started headed off to their new farm. As they were driving down that road, they hit a big old chug hole. One of those watermelons rolled out of the back and just burst right there on the dirt road. Looked in the rearview mirror, he turned around to his partner and said, uh-oh, I believe we've had a mess now. Our mule eggs just busted out there on the road. We better turn around and go check on it. So he turned the truck around. As they were turning the truck around, a big old West Texas jackrabbit jumped right up in the middle of the watermelon. And he was sitting up there just eating the heart out of that watermelon. So by the time these boys got back, they looked and said, don't look now. But the egg has busted, but the little mule is sitting right there in the middle of it. And his friend said, well, I'll go get him. So he went over there and, of course, tried to reach down and grab the jackrabbit. You know what happened. The jackrabbit took off running. Fella started running after him. Jackrabbit thought, this is going to be fun. So he just was zig-zagging around all over the place. And the boy was trying to catch him, and he couldn't. Of course, the rabbit was outrunning him and just wearing him out. After a few minutes, the fella just collapsed on the ground, exhausted, and the rabbit ran off into the prairie. And one of them turned to the other and said, boy, this has not been a good day to get going here. Our farm, I'm afraid, is not going to be all that successful. Here we are. We've bought this stuff, but already busted one of our mule eggs, and our mule has gotten away. The fellow who'd been doing all the chasing of the rabbit looked around. He says, well, I don't know if it's all that bad a deal. He said, what do you mean? He said, tell you the truth, I don't think I wanted to plow that fast anyway. Running for president is plowing that fast, my friend, every single day. Now, I'm going to tell you why it's so important that you're here, and even more important that somewhere between now and March the 4th, that you go out and vote for me. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be one of these politicians to get up here and say, now, it doesn't matter who you vote for as long as you vote. Because that's crazy. No, folks, it matters who you vote for. So, if you're going to vote for me, I want you to do what Kelly Shackelford did, and that's go vote early. And then vote often. That's how we do it in Arkansas. People ask me why I'm a Christian, why I believe in the resurrection. Folks, I see dead people go vote every election day in Arkansas. Easy for me to believe in life after death. I figured if all those dead folks in Arkansas can vote, all you living people in Texas ought to be able to go out and vote for me March 4th. Now, here's why it's important that you go vote for me, because right now, a lot of the national media has already decided that your being here is a waste of your time. They've already decided that this is a done deal, that it's all fixed and settled, and there's no point you even being here. And they've decided that as Republicans in Texas, your votes really don't matter. We're not even going to pay attention to them because the people in New York and California and Delaware and Connecticut have already made their decision for you. Now, it would seem to me, since Texas is the second largest state in the country, and it is the largest Republican state in the entire country, the way I look at it, it ain't over until Texas says it's over.